Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. My name is Bernadette Desir, and I'm your host. And joining me today, all the way from, I'm hoping, sunny UK today.
It is. At the moment, it is, yes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, what's the weather typically like? I heard there's lots of rain there. Is that true?
Yeah, so I'm in Wales.
Well,
We tend to get quite a bit of rain. It does vary where in the UK you are, so I'm more south.
hmm
And we have had a bit of a summer. So we've had some nice days. We haven't had too much rain these last couple of weeks in the summer holidays, which is good.
Oh,
So
okay.
it depends. Like for us, hot is probably about 20 degrees.
Oh,
So I like in the winter, it's more like, 1, 2, 3, 4, which some people can find cold.
yeah,
And we can find it cold, but again, when you live in your climate, you're sort of you're used to it as such.
yeah.
So
Oh,
it's the
yeah,
it's the
yeah,
only place where you've got to pack for like rain or summer, as you can't just go away for a day and
yeah,
pack warm clothes. You've got to pack for like rain, or you can't just pack one set of clothes. You've got to be prepared in the
yeah.
UK.
That's awesome. Keeps you on your toes and fashion, you got to keep changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, welcome. I'm so excited to have you and to hear your journey.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Kelly. I help tired women who want to leave teaching start a coaching business by using their transferable skills. So as a teacher, I've got lots of transferable skills. I help you use them to leave teaching and use those skills in coaching instead. So creating a coaching business on the side, making money whilst you can drop your hours, and then to have the coaching business to give you that time and freedom which you don't get in teaching, and just to be with your family more.
Oh, that's awesome. When you say teaching, is it teachers that teaches or just d different types of teachers?
So predominantly, the way I coach, I help people get started in a coaching business. So my niche is teachers, because obviously you've got
Yeah.
a niche right down. But I can help anyone who wanted to start a coaching business. So,
Oh,
but obviously to start in when you start out in business, obviously you need to niche down. So I started with teachers, but I've helped others as well who are just new to coaching. Because the setting up of the business is the same, whoever you are, whatever you do,
yeah.
those sides are the same basically.
Oh, okay, okay. That's very unique. Yeah. So were you a teacher or do you still teach now?
So I was a teaching assistant. So I've done that for the last 4 years.
Mhm.
So I'm a one-to-one with children with special educational needs. So I've done that for the last 4 years. So although I'm not a teacher, obviously working with teachers and being surrounded with them, and just seeing the amount of work that's involved with, it doesn't matter what job you have in a school. If you work in a school, it's tiring. So some of like the teachers I work with and that are just like, they go home and they can't just sit there. Like the class I was in, like she'd go home and her partner would just be sat on the telly, sorry, on the sofa, legs up, watching the telly, and she's
Yeah.
just there doing work. And as a mum as well, it's just that struggle. You drop your kids off, you're going to school. You've got to run and get them at the end of the day, and then you've got to take them to their hobbies. You've got a house to run, and it's just tiring.
Mhm.
So for me, I was just, there must be more to life than this as a TA as well. You're only on minimum wage. So it's just that there's no life. You can't plan for a holiday. You can't plan for like a trip away in half terms. It's just life limits you, and you're doing this, you're tired. So for me, I was just thinking there must be more to life. I've got skills. I want to help people. And then that's how I just ended up in coaching basically. And now I want to help other people to use, because everyone's got skills. I
Yeah.
just want to show people their potential of how they can do others and create this life.
Yeah.
We're brought up to believe you've got to work until you're 67 and retired. I'm here to show people, no, let's take a stand. Why we live in our life drained out,
Yeah.
just because that's what the government wants. So I'm here to say you don't have to live to that norm. You don't, we're trained to believe that, but we don't have to follow it. Let's live a life.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I have so much respect for teachers
Yeah, and I
for
do.
what they do. Yeah, and I think they do so much behind the scene work that the public doesn't always see, and
Yeah.
they don't always get the validation that they should get from parents or the public.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do like the 9 to 3 like performance time, but
Hmm.
then it's so much in the background. Like they gotta go home, they gotta do planning. Half terms are spent planning, not being with their kids. By the time you get to half term, you think the kids are tired. You should see us adults. You literally you crawl into the half term to the finish line every 6 weeks. You're just crawling on constant countdown because the cooks, the admins, everyone in the school is such hard work, and until you're in that environment,
Hmm.
you don't realize it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So what are some key ingredients for somebody who wants to become a coach? What are the first few steps they should take?
So the first things you need to do is your reasons have got to be bigger than your excuses. So you've
Mhm.
actually got to want to change and want to put in the time to do it. No business happens overnight. So you might see people say, "Oh, I earned 10 grand yesterday," but that's been months and months in the process.
Mhm.
So you've got to know that it takes time. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to make mistakes, but mistakes aren't negative. Mistakes are a positive thing. It's just another learning experience. So
Mhm.
when you've got to want to do it, you've got to have that drive, that why, something that's bigger than making money. So for me, that's my son. I was a single mum for 8 years. Then I was living off minimum wage. I can't give him that life, which I always imagined I would give as a mum. So it's not to say he's gone without, but there's so much more I can give him. And non-material is we live our lives on experiences.
Mhm.
So it's those experiences. So you've got to want to do it. That time has got to be your reason, not your excuse.
Yeah.
And it's just going for it. One of the things to do is invest in a coach. When I started, I was determined I wanted to learn it all myself.
Mhm.
And so it took me a lot longer to get going, to earn money, to get to where I am now, because
Mhm.
I was determined you can find it all online, but by the time you've put all the pieces of the puzzle together,
Yeah.
you've spent so much time wasted. Whereas when you invest in someone, you get it back and tenfold.
Mhm.
They've been where you are. They've made the mistakes. They know the processes to be successful. So it would definitely be have your reasons for doing it and invest in a coach to take you on that journey because they've been there, and they'll prevent you from wasting lots of time because at the end of the day, time is precious. We haven't got that much time. So why do you want to spend it doing the wrong things? Whereas you could just invest it and you know you're going to get that back in a couple of months' time. So it's that, and also having the right mindset.
Mhm.
So for any business owner, any person, mindset is important. So it's about getting yourself in the right mindset when you get started in a business as well.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing. I do you do work with weight loss or what is your journey?
So I don't do weight loss. So my journey, so with the coaching, is that what you mean? Sorry.
Yeah, 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 with that.
Yeah, so like I said, my story was I was just fed up of being a tired, burnt out mum, minimum wage, just no prospect in life. So I spent evenings, weekends doing online courses, learning as much as I could about marketing, businesses, and the online world, basically. So last summer, I was like, right, next summer, I'm not going to work anymore. I'm going to be working for myself. So I quit my job in July, at the end of the school year. So today is my first actual full day of working full time in my business. So
Wow.
it's been a really exciting day. I got to take my son to school.
Mhm.
And then I managed to have an appointment in the day, which usually you've got to try and fit around in half terms or evenings. So it was
Yeah.
nice. I got to take him to school on his first day. I had an appointment, come home, and then just get on
Hmm.
with what I love doing. I love helping other people, and I want to give other people this freedom which they can create for themselves as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome that you're doing that. I think it's needed, especially for women,
Yeah.
women from all walks of life. And sometimes we are so burnt out, we don't pay attention to the signs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most
yeah.
definitely. And a lot of women don't value their worth either. They're afraid of charging money or don't think they could do this because we're just mums. But that's our
Mhm,
superpower. Think of how different you are since becoming a mum, or all those skills that you've got on top of anything else from your corporate job or your teaching job.
mhm,
Women are like superheroes. Do you know what I mean? Until you have kids and can juggle life, working, every woman is incredible, and they just sometimes need to hear that as well. And just take a
mhm,
chance on yourself. There's no one, we're our own worst enemy, our own worst critic, but we need to start bigging ourselves up. So go in the mirror and just say, today, I'm worthy, I can do this. I
mhm.
want to create this life. I'm going to go and do it.
Yeah, 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 that's awesome. Sorry, hang on. Um, yeah, so what are some success stories within the line of work that you're doing that you've had? People coming back saying just the transformation that they've noticed in their lives.
So, a few people. So, my first course, which I've done, is like a mini mastermind. So it's just the foundations of starting a coaching business.
Mhm,
So I created it for the summer holidays, so people could do it at home and do it around the kids. And it's just a lot of them have just said it's opened up their eyes to what you need and what you want. There's a big difference between what you need and what you want. And when you start setting your goals, it opens up your eyes to more than we don't just need this. This is what I want. And now I can go out and start creating it because it gives people those ideas. It's that why, which is more than making sales. It's what
mhm,
you need to earn, what you want to earn, and it
mhm,
just opens up people's eyes with to a world that we don't realize that you can have and that you can achieve.
mhm.
So for a lot of people, it's a transformation of, again, like I just said earlier, you don't have to work a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You can live life on your terms for you and your family. You can take half terms off and not have to worry about money because your income gets replaced through coaching. It's
Mhm,
about you can drive, you don't have to go all in. You can reduce your hours so you're less tired, and then you can work on your business, and that increases money as you can decrease your hours or just go into supply just to keep things topped up. So it's more about opening people's eyes and seeing this incredible life which I'm just embarking on. So it's opening people's eyes, and showing how achievable it is, because sometimes things look like it's a million miles off, but it's about putting it into place, how to set achievable goals. So having your big goals, but breaking it down into small achievable goals to get
mhm,
to those bigger goals. And then obviously when you get to your bigger goals, we
mhm,
we're never at the end of our goal. We can always set more. So people have said about how they've been able to set goals
mhm,
and how the way it's been created, for someone who haven't come from coaching backgrounds,
mhm,
it's easy for them to manage. It's fully understandable. They get the processes of what needs to be done.
mhm,
So the transformation for them is, I can live a life. I've just got to believe in myself, do the work,
mhm.
and we can get there.
Yeah, 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 I agree. And I find that maybe it's a culture of society thing. Um, the way that stay-at-home moms or people who work at home are looked at, because I'm one of them.
Mhm.
They assume that we're lazy, we're not doing enough, we just sit at home. When really, like I'm constantly busy all the
Yeah.
time. How can we manage and don't let those myths or beliefs, stop us in our career and fulfillment?
So if anyone, most people say that probably haven't had kids or have been or have had a lot of support,
Yeah.
or
Mm,
I might get, this might be an unpopular opinion, or could be a man saying that.
yeah.
I was a single mum for 8 years and I worked, although it was part-time,
Mm,
and when you have kids, life is completely different. It's just not the physical aspect of looking after them, it's the emotional. It's like it's all the housework, it's the hobbies.
Mm,
Life is completely different when you have kids, and people
mhm,
need to understand it also takes a toll on our mental health. If you work,
mm,
if you've got kids, if you're at home with kids,
mhm.
our mental health isn't the same when you have kids because the
Yeah, I
emotions
agree.
of being a parent is such a roller coaster ride,
Yeah.
and until people in your shoes, people can't comment. There's reasons people work from home or don't work, and that's down to that person. Someone might not be able to cope with a job and being parenting. I
Yeah.
just don't think we should judge,
Yeah.
and we should support that person is bringing up a human in the world.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. It could be their choice. They might want to be with their kids. They
Mhm.
may not be able to work. They might be limited to work because school hours are so limited.
Yeah.
I just think it's someone's choice, and we've just got to support them to do that, and
Mhm.
see if there's any way we can help them at all if they're choosing or they can't work, helping them.
Mhm.
And again, so people might want to do work from home opportunities. Well, great. That's what I've just started to do. I've just spent a year working full time, doing a business in all my spare hours to get to where I am today, so I can give a life to my son. So I just don't think we should judge, and we should support each other as parents, because parenting is the most difficult job in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really tough. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm a stay-at-home mom. I can't work because of chronic health issues. And for people to have their opinions, I already feel like crap, like sometimes I'm like, what am I achieving? I have to kind of keep going. But it can be damaging at times, people's opinions, even though people say just don't listen to it, ignore it, but it still does something to
Yeah, of
people.
course. But for
Yeah,
you, you've got a chronic condition, so your job is to keep you healthy
yeah.
so you can look after your children. So you're looking after your well-being so you can
Hmm.
be the best mum to your kids. So you're doing the best for you. You could be out there forcing yourself to do a job that's making you ill and not being able for you to be present for your kids. So you're doing what's best for your situation, and it's no one else's business.
Yeah, 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 I agree. Yeah. Do you have like meeting sessions, like a group? I know some people have Facebook group where they connect. Do you have something like that for women that you meet with and connect with them?
So I'm just starting up a new Facebook group so people who are coming into my world. So I'm creating a Facebook group for them. So if they want to connect it and learn more, they're welcome to join that.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn as well, where that's where I put all my posts, and I go live and provide lots of information on helping people get started, what they need to do to get started in coaching, and the do's and don'ts, and just helping
Yeah.
as many women as possible with information of how to get started in coaching.
Yeah, I love that. Let's say, for example, we were working together.
Yeah.
Let's say I didn't know anything about coaches, never heard of it.
hmm
What would be the process of you starting to work with me? What kind of homework do you give? How do you start?
So it would depend on what level. So if you're joining my coaching program, which is new, is coming out in a couple of months. So one of the first things we're doing is going to write a letter to yourself. So in 12 months' time, to look back on this letter which you've written to yourself. So that's all about how you're feeling today, what your goals are. So it's to look back on in 12 months to see how far that you've come.
Mhm.
So that's one of the most important things, is that. It's also things like organization, showing how to use, because obviously time is a big factor with a lot of people. They haven't got the time. But it's you haven't got the time, or you don't want to make the time. That's the difference. So when you want to make the time, it's organizing, to showing people how to be organized to make it a smooth process. It's also goals. We set those goals right from the start,
Mhm.
and mindset before we
Yeah.
do anything else, because it's important to have that mindset, important to be able to think how we're going to deal in different situations. So if someone left a negative comment, how are we going to feel? How are we going to think? How are we going to act if that happens? So preparing ourselves for those situations. getting us in that belief. So all those things right at the beginning, because that's important before learning what to write on social media. You've got to learn about yourself and be in the right mindset, learn how to cope with situations, get your goals so you know what you want to achieve and be realistic, and then creating a strategy. So obviously, but you need to create your sales goals to create your strategy to move to
Mm-hmm.
work back from basically. So it's all those basics right at the beginning to get everything right from the start.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, those are so, so healthy.
Yeah,
The letter to
and
the
important.
self. Oh, I've heard that
There's no
one.
point learning what to write
Yeah,
if you don't know what the outcome of that post is for, or what
yeah,
you want to achieve, or how you're gonna get money coming to you. You know, those things come at the end. The other things, the well-being, that's what's important,
yeah,
because you've got to make sure you're not burning out as a coach,
yeah,
because obviously you're doing it alongside working and being a mum. So it's about all those prioritizing you as well, making sure that there's time for you and organize it, and just making it be able to run smoothly and
yeah,
stuff, like learning how to schedule and all those bits. So when you start doing it all, you've got your process, you've got your sheets, it's all nice and organized. It's like teachers are planning, it is planning, so that they're very highly skilled at that. So knowing how to go about without wasting lots of time, basically. I'm all about
yeah,
this is what you do, this is A to Z, how to do it without all the faff in between,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah. I agree. Thank you for sharing. And
That's
so
okay.
many of us, I struggle with procrastination.
Yeah,
It's
and I
not that
do.
I don't want to.
Yeah,
I just put it back, and
yeah,
I know it should be done. I don't do it.
yeah,
I'm learning how to process and overcome that. What
yeah.
advice would you have, for anyone who's watching or listening to this who struggle with it?
Give yourself procrastination time. So procrastinating is
Mhm,
because there's a reason behind that. So you're finding it difficult, or you're not focused, or there could be many reasons for it. So
mhm,
give yourself time to procrastinate. Say, right, I'm procrastinating, I've highlighted it. I'm going to give myself 20 minutes to doom scroll on social media or
Yeah.
whatever. Give yourself time to procrastinate. Come away from the job and give yourself that time, and don't beat yourself up about it.
Mhm,
I've just been part of a book collaboration. I've been writing a chapter for a book, and it was the same. I was on the calls, but I just couldn't write. So I just thought I'm
mhm,
just going to sit here, and then when I was ready,
yeah,
it came when I was ready. But don't beat yourself up. Don't feel negative. If you
mhm,
procrastinate, there's a reason. So have your procrastination time, come back to your topic, and then think, what is it holding me back? Is it difficult? Do I need to maybe break it down a bit smaller to make it
mhm,
easier? Is there another way for me to do it? Or maybe I just need to come back to it tomorrow. So there's
mhm.
a reason behind it. So give yourself that time and then work out why you're procrastinating over that job that you're trying to do.
Yeah, yeah. And how important is habits when it comes to that as well?
So it's good habits. So again, if you know you're gonna if you're posting on social media, if you know you're going to get distracted, then close them all down. And like I said, give yourself time to, I'm going to do this for 20 minutes and then I'm going to have a look through Facebook or Instagram. So just finish off that job that you're doing and then give that as a reward to yourself. But it's
Mhm,
also about creating those healthy habits as well. So making sure that you've done, like, you've got up in the morning, you've done your commenting and your connections to grow your audience and nurture your audience. And
mhm,
then when you've done that, then give yourself a break and then allow yourself to scroll. So use those habits, but as rewards for yourself. So I'm
yeah,
going to do this job, and then I really fancy a cuppa, but that's me procrastinating.
mhm,
So I'm going to finish this job, then I'll get myself a cuppa, and then I'll have a scroll through social media. That's my rewards. And then I'm going to do that for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to come on to another job for half hour, and then think of a reward then, just to come off the screen, basically, to
yeah,
get to focus on yourself.
mhm, yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing. Is there anything else you'd like to share that we didn't get to talk about yet?
Like I said, the main thing is your reasons got to be bigger than your excuses. So you got to want to do it. Don't use time as an excuse. So I built my coaching business in my car. Most of my videos are in my car because I would do a video on the school run. I would do it when I was taking my son to hobbies.
Yeah.
We have lots of dead pockets of time.
Mhm.
Use them. So in the mornings, I would get up an hour earlier every morning and I would do my comments, my nurturing, grow my audience in the mornings before I went to work.
Mhm.
And then when I take my son to the school, to the bus stop for school, I had about 5 minutes spare before I had to leave for work. So I would just sit and do a video and post it. When I
Mhm.
picked him up from school, it would be the same. You've got those 5, 10 minute gaps here, there. When you're cooking the tea, you just sat there waiting. So do a post, do your connections,
Yeah.
use those pockets of time. You don't have to be sat at a desk. It's
Mhm.
about using time smartly and wisely. You could search for your ideal client. You could think of a post to write. You could think, right, what free videos am I going to record this week and
Mhm.
give yourself the topics for them. So it's about working smarter, not harder. So not burning yourself out, but using those dead pockets of time to work on your business and grow it in those ways because that's what I did.
Yeah, 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 that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. I think you already mentioned where people can find you. Can you tell us again, is it a website you have?
So I don't use a website.
Okay.
Again, because a lot of people focus on that. You don't need a website when you start out. That's something you can have further down the line. So at the
Mhm.
moment, I'm still on social media. So on LinkedIn, I'm Kelly Watts on LinkedIn. On
Okay.
Instagram, I'm Kelly Watts Coaching, or on Facebook, I'm Kelly Watts Coaching as well. So if anyone's got any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has. Like I said, I want to help people get started. So if they've got questions, feel free to connect and message me. I'll answer any questions because I want to help people to get started.
Yeah.
And sometimes asking that question is the hardest part.
Hmm.
I'm approachable and I'm honest as well. So I'll answer any questions honestly as well. But yeah, I'm here to help. If I can help mums be more present for their kids,
Hmm.
create a life which they can't, can you carry on this life till you're 67? If you don't want to, things are going to get harder. If you're ready to just take that chance on you, then just connect it and let's start working together because tomorrow never comes. Say yes today and learn how to do it tomorrow. That's one of Richard Branson's sayings, and it's really important. Just say yes today, learn how to do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I think it's important to live in the present. So many
Yes.
of us, we're so stressed. No wonder we're frazzled, mentally because we're thinking and focusing on what next week's gonna look like, and we miss out on now, on the now. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. We're living to work, whereas we want to work to live. And
Yeah.
that's what anyone taking a chance on themselves,
Hmm.
they're working to live, not the other way round. And that's so important.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have one last question for you as we
Yep.
wrap up. What is the meaning of life for you?
The meaning of life for me is it's a good question if I've been asked that before. Um it's about like I said, not living not be living life dictated to living outside the norm. So I want to work for me, I want to work for my family, I want to create opportunities for my family, which I would never get in a corporate job. Because although, working in school, you have time off, you have half terms off, you've
Mhm.
got to ask for leave, you've got to pay more prices for that.
Yeah,
It's the way it's just living life on your terms.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. Thank you so much for your time, Kelly. Thank
That's
you for
okay.
empowering women. Keep up the amazing work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.